Right, good morning everybody and welcome to the Employment Committee. I'm Councillor David Johnston, I'm the chair of this committee. Would committee members introduce themselves when they're speaking? Your names will not appear on the screen. Are you all right over there, Councillor Alcock? Goodie. We've been broadcast live, and as we've just been saying, there must be a mass audience out there waiting for us to proceed. We have some apologies.
We have apologies from Councillors Parry, Rock and Shenton.
Do any committee members have any interest that they would like to declare in relation to any items on the agenda? No, thank you.
Chairman. David Buckland, Chief Executive. Could I make a declaration on behalf of all staff? Obviously, we are employees of the Council and the pay policy affects us. It's not a pecuniary interest, but just wanted to make that point. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. The minutes have been circulated. Are there any points members wish to raise? Councillor Juned?
Susan Juned, just that when things do go ahead, that for example, some of the the actions like the gardening club, etc., goes ahead. Could we have a report back when that happens? I'd be very interested.
Did we not agree in the council paper on the staff strategy to receive regular reports? Say some more.
Through you, Chair. Yes, absolutely. We're in the process currently of just agreeing the action plan that goes to management team next Thursday. Once that's agreed, then it will come regularly twice a year to Employment Committee so that you'll see the updates on where we are.
Thank you. Any other points? Otherwise, I'll sign the minutes as a true record of what took place. So, can we move on to the substantial item of the day, the pay policy statement? And could I invite Mrs. Doman to present the report?
Thank you, Chair. Layla Doman, HR Manager. So the purpose of the paper today is for you to look at the annual pay policy statement. So for the last 13 years, since 2011, the Localism Act has required us to publish certain information relating to pay and remuneration, particularly of our senior officers. We published our first annual report in 2012-13, and we have done so annually ever since. The report comes to you as Employment Committee first, but then has to be signed off finally by full council. So there are a number of things that are required as a matter of statute to be covered within the pay policy statement. And if I refer you to point 1.3 of the report, that is the level and elements of remuneration for each chief officer, the remuneration of its lowest paid employees, relationship between chief officers and other officers' pay, and all other aspects of chief officers' remuneration. You will see from the statement, which I'll come to in a moment, that actually we go above and beyond that and include everything relating to pay and remuneration for all officers. The other thing that we're required to do is publish pay multiples, and so if I refer you to 1.6 of the report, and my chair has pointed out to me today my glaring error in 1.6.1 in that both of those dates should be 2024, not 2023. And again, in the heading for 1.7, that should be 2024-25, not 23-24. But in 1.6.2, you will see the ratios that we're required to publish. This is a document which is updated every year. There are no new items of policy for the committee to agree. And I just wanted to take you very quickly through the changes, just so that you can be reassured that they are just matters of update for each year. So firstly, 3.7 of the statement gives the pay award upgrade for all staff. On to 4.1. The whole of that point, again, updates the actual salaries that were impacted by that pay award. And point C of that particular point updates the number of service managers at each particular grade. In 4.2, at the bottom of the first paragraph, we had a review of the management team's salaries on the 11th of April 2023. Some of you may recall that, so I've added that in addition in the next paragraph to the pay award for chief officers, which was an increase of 3.5% last year. With all pay awards for all groups, we're at the stage for 2024-25 where negotiations are about to commence shortly. We're waiting for the union pay claim, and then that will commence. So as usual, it's unlikely that that will be in place for the 1st of April, and these things often take a little bit later, often into the autumn, and then backdated awards are made accordingly. 4.10.1, just an update that the returning officer has now reverted to the chief executive. Those who were here last year will remember that David Dolby held that post for a little while. And then if I refer you to 4.10.2, the second paragraph, last year we had 7 chief officers who were still receiving a car lease contribution. With natural wastage, that has now gone down to 2, and you'll be aware that that scheme has been frozen for many years, and we're just letting those run their course. 4.10, the contribution bands have been updated. Again, they're always slightly behind, but we're 23-24. And that is it. New grading structure with the updated salaries in Appendix 1 and the updated structure chart in Appendix 2, which of course shows our 2 new heads of service, Marcia Eccleston and Annette Homer, who have taken place since last we spoke on this subject. So I will finish there, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Councillor Junett.
Susan Juned, just a query actually on 3.5. There is mention there about cost of housing in the district and the impact on recruitment and retention. Is that still an issue that you're finding here in this district, that recruitment and retention because of high housing costs is a problem, or is it something that has actually resolved itself?
If I can respond to that, Chair. I think the situation with recruitment and retention is more complex now than it used to be. Certainly at the time when we did the job evaluation and single status process, which was 2005, the housing market was one of the main issues around recruitment. I would say now that's broadened. As you know, we've discussed before the general issues within the market in terms of recruitment, but the housing market in the area remains high, and we remain having a large number of our staff who don't live within Stratford town itself and live either within our outerlying villages such as Ulster or Shipston, or even over into Wychhaven and Redditch with Evesham, Redditch, Bromsgrove, those sorts of areas. So I don't think it's changed, but I think in terms of recruitment the issue has broadened.
Any other comments? Councillor Waller-Hoggins.
Yep. Councillor Worley-Hoggins, just to say, so you've mentioned about the broader issues for recruitment. I wonder if you'd like to elaborate a little bit on that, Ms Domain, so that we can see, just to get a picture really of what we're facing as far as employment is concerned to the council. Thank you.
If I can reply, Chair, and I'm sure my Chief Executive might want to add some extra bits and pieces. We are, and across the sectors, all struggling with recruitment at the moment. We are particularly struggling with 2 areas. So firstly, our local government professions. So we're struggling to recruit, but we're also struggling to compete with the private sector for those professions which span sectors. So those more generic areas, a good example would be solicitors. We're finding it incredibly difficult to appoint solicitors. What we've found since the pandemic is that our USP, which we'd always had here at Stratford of being extremely flexible around working arrangements, which many of our professional staff said, well, we're happy to come and commit to local government. We understand that the salaries maybe don't compare with the private sector, but there are other benefits which benefit us greatly. Since the pandemic, where the whole world has now learnt that you can actually work from home and work in a hybrid way, that is no longer something which is unique to us. And so there are a variety of different issues, and as you know, the staff strategy has just been approved by council, and we've got a number of tasks in there to look at how we sell ourselves, how we market ourselves, how we enhance our benefits, both financial and non-financial, to attract the best people that we can.
Just to comment further on that particular point, we had this discussion last time when we talked about the staff strategy, and one issue that when management team have looked to prioritise the action plan, something that also Unison are in favour of, is prioritising that development of an apprenticeship scheme for the council to grow our own. Where we've had difficulties in recruiting staff, we have been successful in training staff to undertake those functions. So we are bringing that forward in the first quarter of 2024-25.
Councillor Parker, we're in the middle of the pay policy statement discussion. The machine isn't working very well. If you could just say who you are for the benefit of the...
Thank you, Duncan Parker, and apologies, Chair, for being late.
Any further questions or comments? In which case, can we move to the resolution? Could I have the resolution is on page, there we are, on page, policy statement be amended as appended to this report, be adopted for the period 24-25. Could I propose
Susan Juned, I would like to propose it.
Seconder, Councillor Wally Hoggins. All those in favour? Anyone against? Anyone abstaining? Thank you. So that's passed. Sorry, that's recommended. Correction, that is recommended for council to consider. So I'm not aware of any other urgent business. So members would note that the date of the next meeting has moved from, you've been informed, but it's moved from the 12th of March to the 26th of March. So thank you for attendance, and I'll conclude the meeting.